How to decode your work personality. The question isn't who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me. Hi, this is Greg Starkman with Platinum Method Coaching. In today's installment of your Blueprint for Success, we're going to discuss decoding your work personality. Many companies use tools to evaluate potential employees for a fit within their culture. Oftentimes, they use personality tests, such as Birkman, the DISC, or Myers Briggs. And all of these have merit, depending on what you're looking to discover about someone. But I'm partial to Birkman as far as career insights go. But as Myers Briggs is one of the oldest and best known, that's what we're going to talk about today. So why do people use Myers Briggs? The Myers Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, is a personality diagnosis based on the work of Carl Jung. Leading business people use it to understand how the people around them prefer to work and collaborate. Particularly, you can use it to identify, generally, how certain people, including yourself, like to work in certain situations. The system is not about measuring anyone. It's just designed to sort professional personality types. Often the very first question people ask after completing the personality test is, what do these letters mean? They are of course referring to the mysterious acronyms like INTJ, or ENFP, or ESTJ. The 5 letters of these acronyms often refer to a specific trait with a certain trait combination, forming a various type or group. Let's talk about that, types versus groups. Regardless of its structure, any type-based theory will struggle to describe or characterize people whose scores lie near the dividing line. A different way to look at personalities is through the lens of a trait-based rather than a type-based model. What do I mean by that? Instead of creating an arbitrary number of categories and attempting to fit people within them, a trait-based model simply studies the degree to which people exhibit certain traits. A trait-based approach makes it easier to reliably measure correlations between personality traits and other characteristics. For example, political attitudes. This is why trait-based approaches dominate psychometric research. But that's more or less the only area in which the approaches are dominant, because they don't offer types for categorizations. Trait-based theories don't translate well into type-based theories, into specific recommendations or takeaways. So let's go through the 5 personality aspects one by one, and then move on to the type groups. The 5 personality aspects. 5 personality aspects, when combined, define a personality type: mind, energy, nature, tactics, and identity. Each of these aspects should be seen as a two-sided continuum, with neutral in the middle. The percentage you will have seen after completing the test is meant to show which categories you fall under and how strong your preferences are. Let's look at the personality aspects one by one. The first is mind. This aspect shows how we interact with our surroundings. Introverted individuals prefer solitary activities and get exhausted by social interaction. This tends to be quite sensitive to external stimulation, for example, sound, sight, or smell in general. Extroverted individuals, on the other hand, prefer group activities and get energized by social interaction. They tend to be more enthusiastic and more easily excited than introverts. Energy is the second aspect which determines how we see the world and process information. Observant individuals are highly practical, pragmatic, and down-to-earth. They tend to have strong habits and focus on what's happening or what's already happened. Intuitive individuals are very imaginative, open-minded, and curious. They prefer novelty and stability and focus on hidden meanings and future possibilities. The third aspect of nature that determines how we make decisions and cope with emotions is nature. Thinking individuals tend to focus objectively on rationality, prioritizing logic over emotions. They tend to hide their feelings and see efficiency as more important than cooperation. While feeling individuals are sensitive and emotionally expressive, they're more empathetic and less competitive than thinking types, and focus on social harmony and cooperation. Tactics is the fourth aspect, which reflects our approach to work, planning, and decision-making. Judging individuals are decisive, thorough, and highly organized. They value clarity, predictability, and closure, preferring structure and planning to spontaneity. Prospecting individuals are very good at improvising and spotting opportunities. They tend to be flexible, relaxed nonconformists who prefer keeping their options open. Finally, identity underpins all the others, showing how confident we are in our abilities and our decisions. For identity, you can be assertive, which is self-assured, even-tempered, and resistant to stress. Assertive people refuse to worry too much and do not push too hard when it comes to achieving their goals. But the other side of the spectrum is turbulent. These are individuals who are self-conscious and sensitive to stress. They're likely to experience a wide range of emotions, to be success-driven, perfectionistic, and eager to improve. So, how do we get started with the idea of where do you stand personally? Let's look at the type groups. Now you know what each type group consists of, but how do they fit together? Well, there are two layers, and the first one defines our roles, and the second one, our strategies. The role layer determines our goals, interests, and preferred activities. There are four roles: analysts, diplomats, sentinels, and explorers. Analysts can be intuitive and thinking, and both assertive or turbulent. These personality types embrace rationality and impartiality, excelling in intellectual debates and scientific or technological fields. They're fiercely independent, open-minded, strong-willed and imaginative, approaching many things from a utilitarian perspective and being far more interested in what works than what satisfies everyone. These traits make analysts excellent strategic thinkers, but can also cause difficulties when it comes to social or romantic pursuits. Diplomats can be either intuitive or feeling, or assertive or turbulent. Diplomats tend to focus on empathy and cooperation, shining in diplomacy and counseling. People belonging to this group are cooperative and imaginative, often playing the role of harmonizer in their workplace or social circles. These traits make diplomats warm, empathetic, and influential individuals, but also cause issues when they need to rely exclusively on cold rationality or making difficult decisions. Sentinels can be observant or judging, and assertive or turbulent. Sentinels are cooperative and highly practical, embracing and creating order, security, and stability wherever they go. People belonging to one of these types tend to be hardworking, meticulous, and traditional, and excel in logistical or administrative fields, especially those that rely on clear hierarchies and rules. These personality types stick to their plans and do not shy away from difficult tasks. However, they can be very inflexible and reluctant to accept certain points of view. Explorers. They can be either observant or prospecting, or assertive and turbulent. These types are most spontaneous of all, and they share the ability to connect with their surroundings in a way that's beyond the reach of all other types. Explorers are utilitarian and practical, shining in situations that require quick reaction and ability to think on your feet. They're masters of tools and techniques, using them in many different ways, ranging from mastering physical tools to convincing other people. Unsurprisingly, these personality types are irreplaceable in crisis, crafts, or sales. However, their traits can push them toward undertaking risky endeavors or focusing solely on sensual pleasures. Now let's talk about some strategies. The strategy layer shows our preferred way of doing things and achieving goals. There are four strategies: confident individualism, people mastery, constant improvement, and social engagement. Confident individuals prefer doing things alone, choosing to rely on their own skills and instincts as opposed to seeking contact with other people. They know what they're good at and are highly self-confident. These personality types firmly believe that personal responsibility and trust in yourself are very important values. Confident individualists do not pay much attention to other people's opinions and prefer to rely on themselves. People mastery. People masters seek social contact and tend to be very good with communication skills. Feeling at ease in social events or in situations where they need to rely on or direct other people. These types are confident in their abilities and do not hesitate to express their opinions. Playing an active role in society and knowing what makes other people tick means a lot for people masters. However, they're not too concerned about what other people think about them. Constant improvement. Constant improvers are quiet, individualistic people. They tend to be perfectionistic and success-driven, often spending a lot of time and effort making sure that the result of their work is the best it can be. As their name says, constant improvers are high-achieving individuals dedicated to their craft. However, they tend to worry too much about their performance. And the final category is social engagement. These people are adaptable and sociable, energetic and success-driven. Social engagers tend to be restless, perfectionistic individuals, prone to experiencing both very positive and very negative emotions. Their curiosity and willingness to work hard also means that they're usually high-achieving, even if quite sensitive people. Types favoring this strategy also tend to place a lot of importance on other people's opinions by valuing their social status, and they're eager to succeed in everything they do. So now that we've looked at all the categories, I want to go through the 16 personality types. Be on the lookout to see if you can identify which you are. The first is the ISTJ personality type. We'll call them the logician or the sentinel, or sentinel is their group. So this stands for introvert, observant, thinking, and judging. The ISTJ personality is reliable, fact-minded, and practical. These people tend to be quiet and serious. They earn success by thoroughness and dependability. They tend to be practical, matter of fact, realistic, responsible, and organized. This personality type is thought to be the most abundant, making up around 13% of our population. Their defining characteristic is integrity, practical logic, and tireless dedication to duty, making the ISTJ a vital core to many families, as well as organizations that uphold traditions, rules, standards, such as law offices, regulatory bodies, and military. People with the ISTJ personality type enjoy taking responsibility for their actions and take pride in the work they do when working towards a goal. They hold back none of their time or energy as they consider each task relevant and complete it with accuracy and patience. The weakness of this personality type is they're likely to have a hard time understanding the applicability of really abstract ideas or metaphors in a work situation. So long-range planning and really soft situations that require extreme macro-level thinking may not be great for this person. Second personality type is the ISFJ, the defender, which is also a sentinel. These are very dedicated, warm protectors, always ready to defend their loved ones. Think about nurses possibly in that personality type. People tend to be quiet, friendly, considerate, responsible, and pretty steady in meeting their obligations. They also tend to be especially thorough and accurate in their work, and strive to create an orderly and harmonious environment both at work and at home. The ISFJ personality type is quite unique, as many of their qualities defy definition by individual traits. Though possessing the feeling trait, they also have excellent analytical abilities. Though introverted, they're well-developed people with skills of robust social relationships. And though they're judging type, they're often receptive to change and new ideas. And with so many things, people with ISFJ personality types are more than the sum of their parts, and the way they use these strengths define who they really are. Their weakness might be scenario planning and things that use data to support multiple possible future outcomes, because these people prefer to feel the future, not plan it. Next is the ISTP, the virtuoso. They're in the explorer category. Tend to be bold and practical experimenters, masters of all kinds of tools. These people are tolerant and flexible, and tend to be quiet observers, until a problem appears. When something does come up, they tend to act quickly and find workable solutions. They tend to excel at using data, research, and logic to get to the core of practical problems. ISTPs love to explore with their hands and their eyes, touching and examining the world around them with cool rationalism and spirited curiosity. People with this personality type are natural makers, moving from project to project, building the useful and superfluous just for the fun of it, and learning from their environment as they go. Often mechanics and engineers, ISTPs find no greater joy than getting their hands dirty and pulling things apart and putting them back together, just a little bit better than they were before. The weakness for people in this group are watch out when you're giving this person feedback. They might interpret feedback as criticism or out of their competence. Next is the ISFP. Tend to define this person as the adventurer. They're also a part of the explorer group. They tend to be flexible and charming artists, always ready to explore and experience something new. These people tend to be quiet, friendly, sensitive, and enjoy engrossing themselves in the moment. They like to have their own space and work within their own time frame. Generally speaking, they also dislike disagreement and conflict and do not like to force their opinions or values on others. ISFP personality traits are true artists, but not necessarily in the typical sense, where they're out painting happy little trees. Often enough, though, they are perfectly capable of doing this. Rather, it's that they use aesthetics, design, and even their choices and actions to push the limits of social convention. ISFPs enjoy upsetting traditional expectations with experiments in beauty and behavior. Their motto might be, "Don't box me in." Weakness is they need help in social situations. They're likely to feel like social expectations and norms are a waste of time, so it creates socially challenging situations for them. Next, let's look at the ESTP personality type, which is the entrepreneur, also from the explorer category. They tend to be smart, energetic, and very perceptive people who truly enjoy living on the edge. They tend to be flexible and tolerant, and to take a pragmatic approach that focuses on immediate results. Typically, theories and conceptual explanations bore them. They prefer to act energetically to solve their problems, and to learn through doing. ESTP personality types always have an impact on their immediate surroundings. The best way to spot them at a party is to look for the whirling eddy of people flirting about them as they move from group to group. Laughing and entertaining with a blunt and earthy humor, ESTP personality types love to be the center of attention. If an audience member is asked to come on stage, ESTPs volunteer, or volunteer a shy friend. Theory, abstract concepts, and plotting discussions about global issues and their implications do not keep their interest. ESTPs keep their conversation energetic, with a good dose of intelligence, but they like to talk about what is, or better yet, just go out and do it. ESTPs leap before they look, fixing their mistakes as they go rather than sitting by idly preparing contingencies and escape clauses. Their weakness is they're not best at research, and it might take them a long time to work with novel or conceptual workplace practices. They like practical assignments and experience of seeing results quickly. ESFP, the entertainer, also an explorer. Spontaneous, energetic, and enthusiastic. These people tend to be outgoing, accepting, and enjoy making things happen. They bring common sense to the workplace and approach their work with an emphasis on being realistic. They tend to learn best by piloting new ideas in groups of people. If anyone is to be found spontaneously breaking into song and dance, it's the ESFP personality type. They tend to get caught up in the excitement of the moment and want everyone else to feel that way too. No other personality type is as generous with their time and energy when it comes to encouraging others, and no other personality type does it with such irresistible style. Their weakness is they might get bored with highly conceptual tasks or work that isolates them, especially if that work does not have a practical business application. Next is the ESTJ personality type, the executive. These are one of the sentinels. They tend to be excellent administrators, unsurpassed at managing things or people. These people tend to be decisive, matter-of-fact, efficient, and organized. They do well in environments that have routines, processes, systems, and logical standards of operation. ESTJs are representative of tradition and order, utilizing their understanding of what is right and wrong, and socially accepting to bring families and communities together. Embracing the values of honesty, dedication, and dignity, people with the ESTJ personality type are valued for giving their clear advice and guidance, and happily lead the way on difficult paths. Taking pride in bringing people together, ESTJs often take the role as community organizers, working hard to bring everyone together in celebration of cherished local events or in defense of traditional values that hold families and communities together. Their weakness is they might need to shore up their networking skills and maximize the utility of relationships with other professionals. The ESFJ personality, the consul, also a sentinel. Extraordinarily caring and social, popular people, always eager to help. These people tend to be kind, cooperative, and helpful, and to value follow-through, even with relatively small work issues. They also want to be supportive environment with people to show them appreciation for their work. People who share the ESFJ personality type are, for lack of a better word, popular. Which makes sense given that they're also a very common personality type, making up 12% of the population. In high school, ESFJs are the cheerleaders and the quarterbacks, setting the tone and taking the spotlight, and leading their teams to victory and fame. Later in life, ESFJs continue to enjoy supporting their friends and loved ones, organizing social gatherings, and doing their best to make everyone happy. Their weakness is they may have a challenging time communicating technical ideas with precision, and generally would prefer to avoid projects that avoid an isolated working environment or that requires extreme attention to detail. Next is the INFJ personality, the advocate, also a diplomat. Quiet and mystical, yet very inspiring and tireless idealist. These people tend to seek continuous meaning and connection and want to understand what motivates the people around them. They tend to be value-driven individuals with a clear vision about how the common good should be served. The INFJ personality type is very rare, making up less than 1% of the population, but nonetheless, they leave their mark on the world. As diplomats, they have an inborn sense of idealism and morality, but what sets them apart is their accompanying judgment trait. INFJs are not idle dreamers, but people capable of taking concrete steps to realize their goals and making a lasting, positive impact. Their weakness is they may have a hard time thinking on their feet, and they may also have a problem working quickly when efficiency needs to take priority over equality. The INTJ personality type. They tend to be architects, and they're from the analyst group. Imaginative and strategic thinkers with a plan for everything. They tend to have unique ideas and drive to achieve their goals. Generally speaking, they'll excel in situations which require pattern recognition and long-term planning. They also tend to be skeptical, independent, and hold on to high standards for themselves and others. It's lonely at the top, and being one of the rarest and most strategically capable personality types, INTJs know all this too well. They form just 2% of the population, and women in this personality type are especially rare, forming just 0.8% of the population. It's often a challenge for them to find free-minded individuals like themselves who are able to keep up with their relentless intellectualism and chess-like maneuvering. People with the INTJ personality type are imaginative, yet decisive, ambitious, yet private, amazingly curious, but they do not squander their energy. Their weakness is they may have a hard time working in changing environments because quick strategic shifts can cause them to be ineffective. The INFP personality, the mediator, from the diplomat class. Poetic, kind, and altruistic people, always eager to help for a good cause. These people tend to be curious, values-driven, and responsive. They also tend to be personable and to work well with people unless a particular value is threatened. Generally, it's especially helpful for these people to understand the greater meaning behind their work. INFP personalities are true idealists, always looking for a hint of good, even in the worst of people and events, searching for ways to make things better. While they may be perceived as being calm, reserved, or even shy, INFPs have an inner flame and passion that can truly shine. Comprising just 4% of the population, they risk the feeling of being misunderstood, which oftentimes they are. But when they find like-minded people to spend their time with, the harmony they feel will be a fountain of joy and inspiration. Next is the INTP personality, the logician, or the analyst. Innovative inventors with unquenchable thirsts for knowledge. You know who they are. These people are generally attracted to ideas, theories, and intellectual exploration. They prefer work environments that are relatively tranquil and don't force too much social interaction. They also tend to be very analytical and to apply their minds to deep and challenging intellectual pursuits. The INTP personality is fairly rare, making up only 3% of the population, which is definitely a good thing for them, as there's nothing they'd be more unhappy about than being common. INTPs pride themselves on their inventiveness and creativity, their unique perspective and vigorous intellect. Usually known as the philosopher, architect, or dreamy professor, INTPs have been responsible for many scientific discoveries throughout history. Their weakness is they look for people to emotionally shut down during stressful times. They might need to be reminded that everything will be okay when things get a little busy. Next is the ENFP personality, the campaigner, which is part of the diplomat class. Enthusiastic, creative, and sociable free spirit who can always find a reason to smile. These people tend to be enthusiastic, imaginative, confident, and enjoy taking on quick action and emerging ideas. They also enjoy environments that offer them affirmation and support. The ENFP personality type is truly a free spirit. They're often the life of the party, but unlike explorers, they're less interested in the sheer excitement and pleasure of the moment than they are in enjoying the social and emotional connections that they make with others. Charming, independent, energetic, and compassionate, 7% of the population comprise this group, so you can feel them in almost any crowd. Their weakness tends to be that they underinvest in planning and avoid looking to the past for lessons about the future. So with cultures that are especially traditional or very rigid, historical methods, this person may find challenges. ENTP, the debater, a diplomat. Smart and curious thinkers who cannot resist an intellectual challenge. These people tend to be quick, intelligent, stimulating, resourceful, and outspoken. They're great at brainstorming and then analyzing these ideas strategically. They're good at reading people and changing strategies quickly, but they get bored with routine. The ENTP personality type is the ultimate devil's advocate, thriving on the process of shredding arguments and beliefs and letting the ribbons drift in the wind for all to see. Unlike their more determined judging counterparts, ENTPs don't do this because they're trying to achieve some deeper purpose or strategic goal, but for the simple reason that it's fun. No one loves the process of mental sparring more than ENTPs, as it gives them a chance to exercise their effortlessly quick wit, broad accumulated knowledge base, and capacity for connecting disparate ideas to prove their points. Their weakness is their behavior might appear to be scattered to their teammates because they like to be in the moment. They might need a little help in focusing. The ENFJ personality, the protagonist, diplomat class. Charismatic and inspiring leaders, able to mesmerize their listeners. These people are warm, responsive, and love to find the potential in the people around them. They excel in group settings, and they catalyze growth and action. ENFJs are natural-born leaders, full of passion and charisma, forming around 2% of the population. Oftentimes there are politicians, coaches, and teachers, reaching out and inspiring others to achieve and to do good in the world. With a natural confidence that begets influence, ENFJs take the great deal of pride and joy in guiding others to work together and improve themselves and their communities. Their weakness is they may have problems being in roles that require extreme attention to detail, or one that some people might find isolating. They really enjoy being around other people. Now this is the last one, the ENTJ personality, the commander, from the analyst group. Bold and imaginative, strong-willed leaders always finding a way or making one. These people tend to be frank and decisive. Generally, they're great at spotting illogical and inefficient procedures and replace them with intelligent systems. They enjoy long-term planning and goal setting and are usually well-informed about their profession. ENTJs are natural-born leaders. People with this personality type embody the gift of charisma and confidence and project authority in a way that draws crowds together behind a common goal. But unlike their feeling counterpart, ENTJs are characterized by an often ruthless level of rationality, using their drive, determination, and sharp minds to achieve whatever end they've set for themselves. Perhaps it's best that they make up only 3% of the population, lest they overwhelm the more timid and sensitive personality types that make up much of the rest of the world. But we have ENTJs to thank for many of the business and institutions that we take for granted every day. Their weakness is they tend to make decisions too quickly, and they may also fail to consider the feelings of others. Also, they may overlook important details that could stop a plan from having to materialize. Well, that's a lot of information. Hopefully it's not all new to you, so you're able to absorb a lot of it. I truly hope maybe I've given you some insight, not only into yourself, but to the people you work with. Because when you start seeing how these personality types go together, now we have something that we can work with. So, this is Greg from Platinum Method Coaching. We offer personalized coaching and career change for effecting positive change in your life. If you have any questions, please call us at 800-217-7113 to take the first step to bring your life back into balance. You could also email me at greg@platinummethod.coaching.com or visit our website, platinummethod.coaching.com, or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or Yelp. So until next time, remember, you're not obligated to win. You're obligated to keep trying to do the best you can every day. So make it a great day.